if only we had somebody like Jeff Goldblum be a charming, charismatic guy. Because if we see both versions with regards to our world and Oz, not really different. One's fantastical, one isn't. But what I mean when I say that is that we have both leaders in both scenarios that are pretty much conning or swindling people how they are. The only difference is, and people will say, well, both are charming, right? Yes, but I would say one is actually played by an actor who's so charming and so delightful that you're just like, as much as you see the rottenness of him, can't help but think to yourself, God damn it, he's too captivating. I don't want him. I know what happens in this movie, but dang, at the very least, he's compelling me. That's how he gets you. Why can I have that? Why can't we all have that? I know it's bad, but at least if you're gonna be captivating, be at least like that. At least be charming at it.
Think of what we could do together.
Wicked for Good is once again directed by John M. Cho with a screenplay once again by Winnie, Holzman, and Dana Fox. The film stars Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, Ethan Slatter, Bowen Yang, Michelle Yeoh, and Jeff Goldblum. Now demonized as the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba lives in the exile in the Ozian forest, while Glinda resides at the palace in Emerald City, reveling in the perks of fame and popularity. As an angry mob rises against the Wicked Witch, she'll need to reunite with Glinda to transform herself and all of Oz for good. I'm telling you when I say this, I was completely surprised. Honest to God, okay? Last year was surprised when Wicked became one of my favorite movies of 2024. I mean, seriously, never had I ever thought I would ever say, wow, that is in my best of 2024 list. I would have never have said that. Throughout that entire year, I was like, oh, Wicked's being built up for a movie adaptation, but I mean, as somebody who's never seen it and still hasn't seen the musical, I'm like, all right, well, yes. No hate, no hate, just, I don't know. I don't know how this could be, so hey, we'll see. And god damn it, it won me over. I swear, I never thought that would ever happen. But John M. Cho, he managed to do that for me. Everything except its pacing and runtime was top notch, especially coming from somebody who, and I said this, hasn't seen the Broadway musical. I still haven't. I know that's blasphemy, especially to a lot of musical theater kids. I understand. I know. I'm gonna get booed at or his stab, but I'm just saying for myself, still have not seen it. Hope to one day. Since this was split into two, and yes, I had known about this, that this musical adaptation was going to be split into two parts because the first half was going to cover the first half of the musical and the second would cover the latter half. I wondered how this second half would conclude the story of Elphaba and Glinda, because that was really the captivating thing about the first movie, was how they met, the relationship, that they wanted to show the appreciation of their love and passion for this musical for fans to enjoy. Here's what I will say. By the end, okay, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I still prefer the first over this, okay? And what I mean by that is I don't think this movie's terrible. I want to make this very clear, especially to some of my friends who are Wicked fans. I'm not somebody who wants to come in here and say, like, this movie's terrible. No, not at all. I think this movie is good. Hands down, I will not deny that. While having some talented aspects, and they are definitely some positive aspects with this movie, it did stumble in a few areas that bumped it down from being on par with the last film. I'm not saying that this is meaning that this movie's terrible in any way. I'm just saying for myself, if I had to choose between first one or second, I would probably still take the first. But I don't mind the second. I'll still take it, but definitely the first one to me will be still higher. Before discussing my issues and my problems with this film, here are the positives. The performances. They are exciting. They are amazing. Cynthia Erivo is captivating still as Elphaba. Erivo invokes the defiance and power that Elphaba has in her, who she is. Definitely there is something there to be had with regards to how she comes off as being somebody who is seen by the public as a terrifying nuisance and a danger to all of Oz, but really still misunderstood. Somebody that if you had watched the first part, you know and understand that this is a woman who has gone through so much with regards to how she has been seen, how she's been treated and judged by public before. It is nothing that is new to her, but it is more so the fact that she is trying everything she can to convince people with regards to how animals are treated and how they are abused. And again, Rivio, powerful voice. She has still a magnetic voice that can really reach those high moments that a movie like this could ever reach. And she is still terrific. Still, I appreciate seeing her in a movie like this where her singing chops are there and it shows the hard work that she put into this. Ariana Grande is delightful and emotional still as Glinda. Grande does well with trying to be good and understanding on the perspectives of both sides. Ariana Grande is one that I never expected to be like an actor. Not to say like she can't act, it's more so like I just would have never expected from somebody like her to play a role like this. And it's kind of great to see her really show how much she has always loved this musical and her appreciation for it. And she still kills it as Glinda. She is somebody who's definitely showing how much she has the range, tone in which the movie goes at. She matches alongside Rivio and how they are able to sing off each other in those ways. But yeah, it is amazing to see her still shine still in a movie like this where yeah, you can say she's playing ditzy blonde character, but I would still say like to show how much there's more to her is I think the best part about it. They are able to still pull back and show you more to her than what we see on the surface. Together, both Rubio and Grande are electrifying when sharing the screen together and is allowing their acting and singing to shine when they are connected with one another. If there is one thing that is definitely the scene stealers for this movie is the both of them. They are absolutely the reason why this movie is loved by not just fans, but people who have never even seen the musical adaptation or are now just recently learning about it is because of them. They are definitely the heart and soul of this movie. They are definitely the reason why people fell in love with that first movie is definitely because of them. They are electrifying, they are amazing, they are definitely the reason why people enjoy what Wicked is. Jeff Goldblum, although not in the film as much, and that is still a gripe with it. I wish there was more of him because, man, it would have been amazing. Still charming and amusing as the wizard. He is able to be as charismatic when interacting with the rest of the cast. Jeff Goldblum can never do any wrong. For as much as people could say, well, he's just playing himself, and you know what? I know I could be mad at that, but man, like I said, he's so damn captivating, man. He knows how to sell it. He knows how to make it believable and how much this is a guy who he plays on the way in which you see the world or how you want it to be seen, and he just knows how to just grab your attention. And to me, that is what I think a character like this, for how they want to portray him, should be, because it is just so easy to be lost in the way in which he comes off and how he portrays himself. And then you see the other side of him, or rather the side in which Elphaba knows about him and how he is seen. Goldblum still continues that he is still amazing in the film, and again, wish there was more. The direction is effortless. Again, director John M. Cho brings everything together by keeping the musical sequences and drama still investing, bringing the musical to life. For as much as John M. Cho has a huge task with this movie with regards to trying to conclude Elphaba and Glinda's story, this guy just understands how a musical is. He just gets how is supposed to be seen, how it is supposed to be felt throughout. And that is a really tall order. And he just manages to deliver on it with not just the first, but with this second part. Because, man, he just knows how to capture Oz in a way where it feels amazing. It looks breathtaking. And he just manages to capture every frame with regards to the musical sequences and how drama is handled is there. He is definitely somebody who has understood, or at the very least understands, what this musical is, what it means, and he is able to blend it in a way where it does feel like a stage play, but it is definitely one that is made for the big screen. That shows the appreciation and dedication he has to a movie like this. The music is enjoyable. Composers John Powell and Stephen Shortwurtz helps to liven this second outing like the first. It allows for a moment to be whimsical and powerful. I will say the music parts in which they sing, I like, not on par with the first, but I still enjoy the music that's here. But yeah, the score itself, it's beautiful. It's done very well. It definitely fits the vibe in which this musical is and how much of that influence that not only the Broadway but the Wizard of Oz has had for generations, how much of that whimsical feeling has been felt throughout its lifetime. And that is great to know that you have composers, one that worked on the original musical and then one that is for this movie. It's there. There is an immense amount of talent when it comes to bringing a score like this to life, and these two are able to bring that and transfer that beautifully to the big screen. The cinematography is gorgeous. Once again, cinematographer Alice Brooks shoots an atmospheric, vibrant, and fluid film that showcases the beauty of Oz, being lively throughout. How Oz is portrayed in this movie is stunning, man. It is gorgeous. It looks amazing. The color scheme, the different way in which the atmosphere changes is there. Just like how she did with the first movie. This film really truly showcases Oz in a way in which it really feels like how the original was portrayed in 1939 and is able to expand upon that with, of course, the use of visual effects, but still, it is incredible to see how much of the hard work that went into it, but that is just due to the fact that Alice Brooks is able to capture it all in immense detail. The production is incredible. The amount of detailing in the sets, props, and costumes are excellent, making this feel like an old school looking film. And I mean that truly. If I can give the highest compliment with the first and this movie, it has some of the best production I've ever seen, hands down. Because this truly feels like this was a movie that, even though, yes, it was not made in a way where it is trying to be faithful to the original 1939 Wizard of Oz, but damn, it comes close, man. Because, wow, they really know how to bring in every aspect of making it feel like how the original film showcased all of Oz. But of course, this being based off of the musical play, is able to blend those two together to where it's like this truly feels like not just the musical, but really like how Hollywood movies used to be, how they used to look, how productions used to kind of come off and showcase the immense amount of talent that was put into every detail in this movie. And I think that that is the best thing about these two movies is that production that is here is fantastic. The visuals are amazing. All the animals and flying sequences are terrific as it happens, keeping up with the first film in terms of how creatures look, how they feel, how they move. But yeah, the little detailing, the designs in the creatures, even though of course they are similar to how Earth is like in the way in that monkeys look like monkeys and bears or Noah leopards, but like the detailing on them looks incredible. And yeah, the flying sequences that Elphaba takes in this movie looks terrific. It never felt like once it was completely terrible looking in any way. It felt like they wanted to make sure that everything was done right, in which how it was angled and how it was executed. The musical sequences are stellar. Seeing the cast and background actors do a great job on the choreography and staging is incredible, letting it show all the talent on screen. Of course, biggest thing to say with regard to a musical is those sequences, how they are handled, how they are choreographed, and how they are staged. And here, and just like with the first, it's amazing. It showcases the work that goes into the numbered sequences, getting this right, and making sure that everybody plays their part in hitting the notes and hitting the beats that they are supposed to be in. That is always the key to a musical, and of course, they nail that down very well. For all the talent that is there, it does stumble in a few areas that hurt it a bit. And I will say, yeah, it is a little bit for me disappointing, but not to the point of like saying like it is completely terrible. There was just a few issues, and I will explain. So now here are my negatives. The story is all over. Seeing Elphaba and Glenda struggle with their roles and their influence of the wizard can be interesting at parts, but doesn't quite stick the landing. And other times it conflicts with itself. And what I mean by that is with this trying to lead up into the Wizard of Oz, like the original book, I understand that they have to wrap up everything in a way where it makes sense. Problem is that while I do think that there are some interesting aspects with regards to Elphaba and Glinda's relationship, how the wizard fits in, pretty much the political undertones that are here, I feel like it's undercut because of the fact that they have to make sure that everything that is in the Wizard of Oz, make sure it gets into this movie. And they have to wrap it in there very quickly. And everything by the halfway mark, once Dorothy shows up, it does kind of start to feel like everything is in a mad rush or it's slowing down in areas where I think it should be picked up. It's unfortunate because as much as I understand that, yes, this is a prequel, I just feel like it needed to know when to fit the right tone and vibe in how it's flowing, how it's moving. And to me, it just kind of felt like it was going back and forth with itself of trying to be the prequel that we are knowing that it will lead into for the Wizard of Oz, or it's trying to really get the Wizard of Oz references in here as fast as possible because they have this small amount of windows so that way they can at the very least get them in. The pacing and runtime is inconsistent. In parts, it goes quick, but slows down in other parts. With a runtime of 2 hours and 17 minutes, it's difficult with finding its footing. I don't necessarily think the runtime is the problem. I would say more so the pacing is, which then conflates with the idea of 2 hours and 17 minutes. I don't know. But I think that's a reasonable amount for a musical that isn't dragged out to being 3 hours. But the pacing here is definitely the biggest issue because the way in which scenes would go, the beginning, the first half, it goes by quick. But then there are moments where it slows down, it crawls at times, and then once Dorothy comes into the picture, they are trying to quickly get through all the references to Wizard of Oz, but the thing is that it'll go by quick in those areas and then they try to slow it down to then explain other things. It's just really jumbled in the way in which it's able to kind of balance out the way the pacing is for that runtime to actually truly work. The animal rights subplot is forgotten. The more the plot goes on with what happens with Alphaba, Glinda, and the wizard, the more the subplot for Alphaba fighting for the animals' rights gets sidelined. And not to say that it's never brought up, but there's no conclusion. There's no ending to that. And by the time more so the bigger issue of the plot comes in, it's kind of like they sideline that, and so that way they can bring in the whole thing about Fiyero and his relationship with both Glinda and Alphaba and how that plays out into it, and how the wizard just is not the wizard. But I think to me, by doing that, that then sidelines a thing, a driving motivation for your main character to just kind of feeling like it just stopped there, and then it kind of, I guess you could say it was resolved, but really it's not. Yeah, it just never felt satisfying to see a storyline like that, which was the main driving point by the end of the first movie, just now kind of being like, all right, well, that served its purpose. For all its faults, Wicked for Good is an exciting watch for how its production, performances, etc. were able to still be top notch. Hands down, that is amazing to see a musical like this in 2025 show the immense amount of talent that is there. Though it may not be on the same level as the previous outing, it's able to hold strong enough on closing the story for Alphaba and Glinda and the impact that they have had on Oz as a whole. And yeah, for as much as I got my problems, I still enjoy it enough to where it didn't ruin the experience for me. I'm going to give Wicked for Good a 7 out of 10. It's enjoyable. It's a fun time. If you want to take your family out to see it and want to just at the very least know that, hey, I got to see the second outing of a 2-part musical adaptation, by all means, go for it. I'm just saying, if somebody wants to ask me what I say, is it a perfect ending? If you ask me, no, but hey, that's just me. Again, I've never seen the musical, so I can't really like bash anybody, especially fans of the musical play. If you loved it, you guys, by all means, I'm happy for you. I'm just saying that's just my take. So I will be soon doing a review, hopefully, for Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery. If not, it might be Zootopia 2. I will let you guys know. So yes, look forward to that review and other reviews coming soon.